Conversation program brought to you by Eliason Financial. You can voice your opinion by calling 672-KROE. That's 672-5763. Now, your host for Public Pulse, Floyd Whiting.
Good morning and welcome to Public Pulse. This morning, I am joined by Krista Grusevich and Edith Harper from the Wyoming Cattlewomen. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Now, what is the organization of the Wyoming Cattlewomen?
Well, the Wyoming Cattlewomen is a group that was founded in 1941, and it's just individual. It's women supporting agriculture, basically agriculture in the cattle industry, and the importance of beef and the cattle industry to the world existence, really. And so we develop educational awareness about beef, just promote better understanding of the roles that the industry plays in the economy, and, you know, particularly in Wyoming.
Yeah.
And so just try to get word out and educate the children and start at the bottom and work our way up.
How important is the cattle industry to the state of Wyoming?
Oh, it's... I don't know. You want to take any?
I don't have any numbers, but I think it's pretty vital.
Yeah.
And there's a whole organization of Ag in the Classroom that's developed a whole curriculum that they're getting into a lot of schools that affects, Rindy West is doing that, but it teaches about the mineral industry, the cattle agricultural industry, and tourism, and I think one more I can't remember right now, that are vital to the Wyoming economy and Wyoming heritage.
My father's a range rider. He's 77, and he still insists on going up there by himself. So I grew up around cattle my whole life, and cattle and horses and a whole lot of sheep. And if you drive across the state, I mean, there's cattle outside your window the whole time, isn't there?
And it's not just the ranchers, but the industry. There's sale barns, there's meat processing plants, there's a whole range of jobs and of industry that supports, not to mention us getting to eat.
Right, exactly. Now, how does one join the organization? And are you always kind of looking for members?
We're always looking for members. We've got a Facebook page now, so that's a contact point.
Under Sheridan County Cattlewomen.
Under Sheridan County Cattlewomen, correct. There's a state organization, and then there's individual county organizations.
Kind of chapters type of deal, yeah.
So we are the Sheridan County Cattlewomen, and you'll find us on Facebook there, and that's a easy way to get a hold of somebody. Our address here, and will we be able to post stuff on your afterwards that
I'll write up a little story for you. Yeah.
We can get that info on there, so we can get you some phone numbers and stuff on that. But our address is P.O. Box 490 here in Sheridan. You can always drop us a note, and yeah.
Now, what are some of the activities that the Sheridan Cattlewomen support throughout the county?
The things we have done, we meet monthly and try and have different speakers that speak on issues that are relevant to the cattle industry, and then we try and support beef in the cooking classes in the schools, and the Pro Start program at Sheridan High School has done a fantastic job. Those kids go on to some pretty cool culinary competitions. And then we help organize the dinner at the Junior Livestock Fair. And I'll just do a shout out here that we organize it, and the donors have been Valley Meat, Perkins, Albertsons, the former Holiday Inn, Water Products, Ribbon Chop, Killy's Deli, Farmers Co-op, the Chamber, and Pepsi. And then we serve it, and we serve hundreds of people for that. And then in the fall, we put on an Ag Expo for all the fourth graders in the county. And we do that at the fairgrounds. And we have all kinds of animal exhibits, and inside we have fish and game, hides, wheat grinding, wood spinning, roping, farrier, veterinary, just to mention. It's a big deal, and try and get every kid in the 4th grade in Sharon County through there that day.
And just kind of show them the way that things used to be done and like
And
the
still are
traditional?
done.
Yeah.
And still are done. I mean, we bring a cattle pod all clean. They can see that too. And the soil conservation comes and has a water wall for erosion. And the FFA chapters are critical to our putting that on. And they do exhibits. They have a fake cow they milk and make butter. And, but it's a pretty neat deal. And then one of our wonderful members makes incredible chili that we serve at the Chili's at the Christmas stroll, and we hand that out for free to sort of promote beef.
Yeah.
And those are kind of the main things we do. We also provide some useful gifts to the first-time showmen at fair, and then whatever we sort of see that we can do, funds permitting, we try and keep educating and supporting. So
Now, what are some of the issues that actually face cattle women here in Wyoming? What are some of the challenges that, as a woman within this industry, you face those hurdles all the time?
A lot of the same as the men, I guess, in respect to being, just the actual physical caretaking of the animals. Most of the cattle women are working right alongside their husbands and feeding and caring for and calving and vaccinating and branding and
Yeah.
and they're working right there out in the cold and the heat and whatever elements. That's something I think a lot of people don't really understand is you see people getting down on ranchers for, I don't know, so I'd call it animal abuse, but I don't think people truly understand the care and the level of attachment that the ranchers and the ranch wives have for these animals and how they truly care. Edith was just talking about her bum calves this morning. Just the amount of emotional effort that's put into doing this on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people just don't really see that, and you wouldn't see it unless you're doing it.
Yeah. Edith, you got a lot of bum calves out there this year?
no, we're just 5. I've got some. Sometimes a cow will have twins and can't count to 2, and they reject them,
Yeah.
and we bring them in. Or sometimes a cow's bag goes bad, and we'll bring in the calf and feed it instead. So.
Yeah, I can remember Mom bringing home bum lambs all the time, sticking
Right.
them in the oven.
Or the bathtub.
Now, how does the organization itself support cattle women throughout the state? Is this like a one of those organizations that comes together if someone's facing like either financial difficulties or difficulties getting something done within the industry?
we're probably involved just in the county thing, but there is a state organization. They have regional meetings, they have state meetings, and pretty much work with the stock growers to provide education and information and disseminate that.
Yeah.
And, the Buffalo Cattle Women put on a whole summit for women in ag in January. Mm-hmm. And, encourage women. But what I've seen so much in ag and my growing up is that's where women just sort of fit in and work. And I don't really remember that many particular issues that only go to the women.
Yeah. So there isn't like a divide or having to unite in the face of any kind of adversity.
I think, when issues come and there's publicity against beef, we all sort of work to try and educate people together.
Yeah.
But I don't know that there's a huge sort of uniting effort to unite as a movement.
Not particularly. I guess I feel like we just are united in what,
Right.
In what we do, that kind of just blankets, anyone working in that industry. I think, I don't know, I just feel like it is united and there's not a real struggle to have to do so.
Yeah. Yeah. Edith, how did you get involved in the industry? Were you born into this?
Yes.
You were born into it.
Yes. So,
Are you a local girl?
no, I was born in Colorado on a farm and then ranched there and ranched in New Mexico and then up here. So,
Oh wow, you've done ranching in some diverse ecosystems, haven't you?
there are different ways of doing things, but
Yeah.
agriculture people sort of seem to always work together pretty well. So.
Now, Krista, what about you? Were you born into the industry?
In after a fashion, I guess. We aren't a big ranch. I've got a small place and a small herd of cows, and we've had my dad. We've always had cows. We started off with a milk cow, and we'd raise a couple calves every year to eat. And he's kind of grown his herd, and I've since gotten my own. And I guess I'll segue into one of our other little things we're doing. I got involved with the cattle women. They were doing a member drive, I guess, and they were. You've probably seen the napkins around town with all the brands on them, and at any of the events that we help with, the fair, their dinner and the co-op dinner, and they've built a napkin with all the county brands on it, and I wanted my brand. My husband wanted our brand.
Wanted the brand on there, yeah.
And so a membership drive that they had was if you bought a membership to the Sheridan County chapter, you would get your brand on that napkin. And so that was how I found out and got started and with being a member. And the membership, the dues, local dues are just $10. So it's not
that's not much.
Not a big thing to get involved. We are looking at doing something similar. We're going to be building a scarf, like a neck wild rag, a lot of the cowboys call them, and so we're going to be doing that and putting some word out that anybody that wants their brand on that scarf will have a fee. We'll be able to have somebody to set them up. If your brand's not set up digitally, it will need to be a digital image to get put on that, and then we'll be designing those and then selling those scarves to raise money for all the other stuff we do. So that's kind of how I got involved in it, and it's just I just feel like it's a good organization and kind of keeps me involved in things and up to date, and I've learned a lot. The speakers they bring in, there's always some very interesting stuff in our meetings. So
Tell me about the upcoming raffle. What are we holding there?
So the raffle, the Sheridan Wyoming Rodeo has been gracious to donate the rodeo bucket. You've probably seen those.
Well, we plan to have a float, so.
Oh, yes, and that too. So we will be having a float in the parade this year. And then we are doing this raffle, and the rodeo bucket is the red buckets. You've probably seen the Go Buckle Club has put these on and seen them around town. And so there's 4 tickets to the Wednesday night performance in the bucket. There's a signed copy of Rodeo Time by Tom Ringley. There's an official contestant back number, some rodeo koozies, rodeo whiskey, whiskey glasses, rodeo caps, a flask. And then we've also added some of our bling to the bag. I think we've got, an apron, a tea towel. There's some Wyoming or Sheridan County cattle women merchandise in that.
Some of your own merch in
some
the bucket,
some of our own propaganda. So so Sheridan Seed is graciously selling tickets to that, so you can see the bucket and all what's in it and buy tickets at Sheridan Seed. The tickets are, what are the tickets, Edith?
1 for $5 or 5 for $20.
Oh, that's...
I turned my head away, but yeah, 1 for $5 and 5 for $20.
So yeah, and Plants Plus Greenhouse out near Dayton also has tickets for that. So if you're in that area closer, then stop and get them at the greenhouse. And otherwise, Sheridan Seed has the tickets, and we'll be selling them up to that week of rodeo, I believe. And
Right.
Now, Edith, I'm running out of time, but you had some people that you wanted to thank real quick.
Well, if you're going to do a streaming thing, maybe you can put on it. But as part of our membership, local businesses can join as associate members, which is $40, and it's businesses that support us at Cattle Women. and I wanted to give him a shout out, but maybe I'll give you the list, because if you're running out of time,
Yeah.
that's my whole list.
Oh, that's a pretty good size
don't
list.
really
a lot
wanna
of,
read it,
lot
but-
of good support on
But
there.
we've got
though.
some wonderful support from different
Yeah.
associate members, and I always hope we can keep doing a shout out for them. So
Absolutely. I'd be happy to do that. And ladies, I want to thank you for coming in and talking with me this morning. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, when we return, we're going to speak with the Bighorn Equestrian Center. This is Public Pulse on 930 KROE and 103.9 FM. Sheridan.
This is Eric Jacobson, partner at Eliason Financial. I think we can all agree that living and working in Sheridan, Wyoming is an absolute privilege. At Eliason Financial, we support our community through volunteerism, philanthropy, and making a positive economic impact. To learn more about who we are and what our wealth management advisors can do for you, visit Eliason Financial online or call 307-672-3010. Securities offered through Royal Alliance Associates, Inc., member FINRA, SIPC.
Mossholders Design Center is here to help you create a space that you'll love. If you're relocating, remodeling, or just refreshing your home, Mossholders' talented design team can help you through the process. With free in-home consultations, Mossholders will be able to find the furniture and finishing touches that work best with your space, your lifestyle, and your budget. So if you want to change the look of just one room or furnish an entire home, Mossholders designers can get it done. Mossholders, furniture is our passion.
Now's the time to start those projects you've been dreaming about. Excavation, landscaping, or home improvement. Wagner Ranch Services has the materials. Wagner Ranch Services carries many types of gravel, scoria, topsoil, and landscaping products. Check out Wagner's landscaping display, where you can view a variety of landscaping materials that can be picked up from the yard or delivered. Wagner Ranch Services, 13 Industrial Lane, 307-752-2787. Open Monday through Friday from 7 to 5.
The City of Sheridan Weed and Pest Division would like to announce that mosquito fogging will continue through the mosquito breeding season. Fogging will take place Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday evenings when necessary. For more information to report heavy concentrations of mosquitoes or to request that your home be in a no-spray zone, please call the mosquito hotline at 307-655-8297 or visit the website at sheridanwy.gov.
It's your final week to enter for a chance to win $500 in chamber bucks. This is Kyla Allen with ERA Carroll Realty, inviting you to enter the ERA Carroll Realty Summer Sweepstakes. Just go to the contest page on SheridanMedia.com, where you can enter daily through the 4th of July. Chamber bucks can be used anywhere in Sheridan County or even cashed at your bank. Enter now. We're drawing the winner July 5th. ERA Carroll Realty. We're about more than real estate. We're about family, friendship, and community.
Join folks in the Sheridan area for an Evening of Caring concert to benefit Ukraine Thursday, June 30th at the WYO Theater. This concert will feature various local talents with the mission of providing humanitarian relief to the Ukrainian people, whether in Ukraine or wherever they fled to survive. The concert starts at 7 p.m. and tickets are $20 a person. Donations will be filtered through the YMCA World Service. For more information, call 307-752-2710. Sponsored in part by Sheridan Media.
Here we go.
Well, I ain't ever been to Folsom, but I've damn sure done my time trying to raise a
Good
woman.
morning and welcome back to Public Pulse, brought to you by Eliason Financial. Now, who you were just listening to was Mr. Kendall Marvel, and he's going to be out at the Bighorn Equestrian Center. And this morning, I am joined by the executive director of the Bighorn Equestrian Center, Sheila Blackburn, and the Wyoming Wildlife Federation advocate, Tommy Bernard. Good morning, folks. How are you guys doing?
Good morning.
Doing great. Thanks for having us.
Oh, very happy to have you on here. And for those who don't know, the Bighorn Equestrian Center is a 501c3 charitable organization, and their mission is to provide a complete facility for diverse equestrian and community events. Sheila, how are things going out at the Equestrian Center this season?
They're going wonderful. We're getting ready for this concert, of course, this week. Polo starts this week. And every other event, we've got, I think, 12 weddings, 16 private events. It's rocking. And I think the most exciting thing happening right now is this concert that is a kind of a new addition to the fields.
Now, the center was purchased, 4 years ago?
In 2018.
2018. So, yeah, geez, 4 years now. Time is flying. I think COVID robbed me of about a year and a half, though.
Us too.
Now, we've got polo going on. When does polo kick off?
It actually starts this coming weekend. You can go to Bighorn Equestrian Center Facebook page and see their schedule. But we've got Sunday games at 1 and 3. They're always free.
These are free games.
They're free games. You can come out, you can tailgate, you can bring your own cooler with drinks or whatever you want and your own fancy grills and just have a ball. And the clubhouse is open. But it's a fun crowd, and we've always got, usually Ethan is our announcer, and he's kind of a fun guy. He's educating the people that don't know about polo and tattling on the people that do know about polo.
Yeah.
And introduces the players that are coming from, around the world.
Sheila, before you took this position out there at the Equestrian Center, did you know or do much about polo?
I didn't. I've done tourism and done various other things. I've worked for nonprofits for a lot of years. My family was more rodeo, so polo's kind of new to me, and so I think that's more exciting to me.
Yeah, because it's something new, right?
Yeah, but it's old for here. And so people don't know that last year we were the most populated club. The Bighorn Polo Club was in the world. So we had more players visiting us last summer than anywhere in the world.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
And to think that Sheridan has this polo background, and I had a polo player in here last year. And I've got to admit, and I'm sure some folks are going to get upset at me, but when I think cowboys, never once did polo ever pop into my head. I grew up in and around the whole cowboy culture, and none of the old guys I was raised by talked about polo. But it's such a big thing here in Sheridan.
It is, and I'm still learning. And sadly, I think sometimes it's taken for granted here, and so we don't see as many local folks that we'd like to.
Yeah.
But I'm on the fields every week, handing out programs and visiting with the crowds. And I've visited with people from across the United States that are coming through, or people from like Rapid City and Gillette and Casper that are coming up for the day. And they make it just a party. They bring their tents, they've brought campers and kind of grab their space. And just make it fun. And one of the biggest Sundays that we're going to have is, of course, after the YO Rodeo. So we've got cowboy polo that day. That's kind of crazy where they got to chug a beer and then they got to play polo. And you never know what's going to happen. And it's a lot of fun.
See, now that sounds like cowboy polo.
Yeah, it is all the way around. And you can't meet nicer people than these folks. You'll hear some different languages on the fields. Some of the folks from the Flying H, which is our great neighbor, and they've got their wonderful high goal polo on their side. Ours is low goal. They come over and they got their new ponies and their new players on our side as well. So you just, some people say, gosh, we only thought we'd ever be able to see this on TV.
Yeah.
But just come out to the Equestrian Center and see it there.
When I was a kid, you'd see polo, but it was always rich people standing around the field shipping, champagne or sipping champagne and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You never thought, oh, well, grab your old man and come on down to the polo and have fun as a common person, which I always appreciated.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's something that I think I need to take advantage of, because this game itself, it's not just the game, but some beautiful horses out there on the field that are actually athletes themselves, much like our bucking broncs that we love to watch. The horses, when you watch polo, do you feel that the horses, like, they know what they're doing and they're into it?
You
as
know,
much
they've
as
got to. And those players, and from a layman like myself, learning the sport the way I have, to watch them, it's kind of like you just think, how can they not crash and have accidents and things like that? And it's just pretty to watch. So yeah, it's one of those things where if you can get closer to the stands and listen to Ethan when he talks, he's telling you about it. And anybody, if you grab one of the programs that I have out there that talks about us, the relationship with the Polo Club, the relationship with the Flying H, it also tells you about polo, tells you the difference about the horses that they require, how many horses. They come with multiple horses.
Yeah.
And our folks are coming from Texas and Tennessee and Florida, California. And it's quite a feat to get them here. They move into the community and they make it their own. They're eating here, drinking here, and having a ball. But nice people. And I've been out there when I've got kids standing beside me, and the players will come up and talk to the kids. So they're just welcoming everybody.
Now, when it comes to other events that are being held out there, so many weddings.
Yes.
I mean, a beautiful place to have a wedding.
Yes.
And all the room you could want.
Yes, it's so much fun. I can't say that I have a better time than hosting weddings.
Right?
And
What a great job.
When I came on board, they historically didn't have that many, so it's kind of grown. COVID kind of made everybody a tad nervous, but to have 12 this summer is just amazing. I've already got about as many booked next year, but it is so fun. And I've got people loading in from out of state, out of town. I've got locals that have grown up here and told me they dreamed of having their wedding there. So it just can't be more perfect. And, I request perfect weather every time. And very rarely is it anything but that. And then I get to watch every single wedding. You'll see me in the background crying. It's perfect.
At every wedding.
At every wedding. Every wedding.
That's fantastic. Now, Tommy.
Yes, sir.
Sir, what is the Wyoming Wildlife Federation? And what are some of the things they do for our wildlife?
Okay, well, oddly enough, I just got off a airplane flight flying over east of Sheridan and looking at mule deer country, elk country, and one of the things that the Wildlife Federation focuses on is creating access to these public lands that are surrounded by private lands, and they try to work with the landowners and so forth. But there's a Wildlife Federation probably in every state in America. And they all work towards conservation, not just of wildlife, but of habitat areas and so forth that support wildlife. I've been the treasurer of the Tennessee Wildlife Federation. That's where I was born and raised. And having come out to Wyoming in 2009 and moved out here, I love this state. And to me, it's one of the most beautiful states in America with one of the most diverse wildlife habitats and scenic beauty. And at the same time, you've got all this energy harvesting coal and natural gas and oil. And as it transitions to solar and wind, and it's critical that the state gets its income from these sources, but it's also critical that the reason we're all in Wyoming is we love it so much. It's so beautiful.
Right.
So we've got to conserve it. And this Wildlife Federation here, to me, has been a little weak and underfunded in the last couple of decades. And I think it's critical that I'm working hard to try to get the budget up and get more boots on the ground doing this work. It takes people in the Capitol to lobby and people out in these habitat areas to see what the problems are, wildlife crossings. One of the things I saw this morning was an area where there's more mule deer killed than anywhere in the state.
Oh, wow.
And so we need advocates, and whether you believe in climate change or global warming or whatever you want to refer to it, these conservation groups are critical to our future of dealing with this kind of stuff. So, I'm a big supporter of this Wyoming Wildlife Federation.
And if you're a sportsman, I mean, this is the right kind of organization to belong to, because if we don't conserve the ecosystem,
absolutely,
there won't be anything to hunt, will
right? And it's these wildlife federations really are funded by hunters. I mean, it's the hunters are the ones that really want to protect the habitat, make sure the herd stays healthy and strong. You know, in the deer population, you're dealing with CWD, it's chronic wasting disease. And it's devastating to the deer population, and we're trying to learn everything we can about it because it's kind of a new, phenomenon. And it spreads like wildfire, so you got to get it under control. And these wildlife federations are addressing issues like CWD and any issue that impacts wildlife.
Sage grouse,
yes,
black-footed
absolutely.
ferret. I mean, Wyoming faces so many issues with their animals, and I think you're right. It's because we have such a diversity, and maybe things weren't taken care of back in the day, like we're trying to do now.
Yeah.
And what are some of the things that the Wyoming Wildlife Federation does within the state to raise money, and how can you expand on that?
Well, historically it was membership-based, which means you pay $29 a month to be a member or something. And these federations can't survive on that. It takes too many people, and you look at the population of Wyoming and take a percentage, you're not going to have a big budget that way.
And the cost of everything is just going sky high.
These organizations survive with major donors. You have to go sit down with people that have the means and the willingness to support this and get bigger gifts and from more people. And that brings me into what we're trying to do at the Equestrian Center next week is to raise awareness as well as hopefully get people to reach in their pockets and help the federation. But mainly we're going to be there to have a good time.
And we're going to talk about that in just a moment. I got to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we will continue with the Bighorn Equestrian Center and the Wyoming Wildlife Federation. This is Public Pulse on 930 KROE and 103.9 FM, Sheridan.
This is Eric Jacobson, partner at Eliason Financial. I think we can all agree that living and working in Sheridan, Wyoming is an absolute privilege. At Eliason Financial, we support our community through volunteerism, philanthropy, and making a positive economic impact. To learn more about who we are and what our wealth management advisors can do for you, visit Eliason Financial online or call 307-672-3010. Securities offered through Royal Alliance Associates, Inc., member FINRA, SIPC.
With more than 30 years of providing excellent service to Sheridan area businesses, Parker Mellinger has the knowledge and expertise to help solve your bookkeeping problems, answer questions about IRS notices, and discuss your business concerns. Schedule a review of your financial records today, and we'll find solutions that work best for you. Ask about our exclusive fixed price agreement, 1 annual fee, unlimited phone calls, and meetings. Parker Mellinger, 1811 South Sheridan Avenue, Sheridan.
The owners and staff at Kane's Funeral Home would like to thank the families of Sheridan and Johnson counties for choosing Kane's and allowing them to serve you during these hard times. Kane Funeral Home makes it their mission to take the stress and uncertainty out of ceremonial services. They own and operate the only crematory in Sheridan County, so your loved one is always in their care. Kane's Funeral Home. Call 673-5837 or visit them online at canefuneral.com.
The rodeo is part of who we are. It's our history, our identity. But boy, this is not your granddaddy's rodeo anymore. The YO is bigger, better, and bolder. Larger purses, tougher competition, and a whole lot of family fun. Come for the World Champion Indian Relay Races, high-stakes BRCA action, and a warm welcome unlike anywhere else in the world. You gotta be here to feel it. Get your tickets at SheridanWyoRodeo.com.
I'm voting for Liz Cheney, and here's why. As a small business owner, I appreciate Liz Cheney's support of rural healthcare initiatives.
She has supported the military. She's a great supporter of Warren Air Force Base.
Liz will respect and protect our public lands in Wyoming.
I'm proud to support Liz Cheney's stance on a strong national defense and her support for veterans.
Join me in voting for Liz Cheney on August 16th.
I'm Liz Cheney, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Liz Cheney for Wyoming.
Summer's getting started here at Hammer Chevrolet. Dick Hammer.
Bob, whatever you need, we are here and ready to get you taken care of. If you need cash to put in your pocket, we continue to pay top dollar for quality pre-owned vehicles. We have a nice selection of fuel-efficient vehicles to get you out on the road this summer. If you need service work or a service contract, we are here to help. We're a full-service dealership.
Get your summer on at Hammer Chevrolet at 107 East Alger, online, hammerchevy.com.
Good morning and welcome back to Public Pulse. We're brought to you by our friends out there at Eliason Financial. And who you just heard was the singer-songwriter Kendall Marvel. He's going to be out at the Bighorn Equestrian Center. A benefit concert for the Wyoming Wildlife Federation will be held on July 6th out at the Bighorn Equestrian Center, and that's going to be featuring Mr. Kendall Marvel. You heard him right there. Now, this morning I am also joined by the Bighorn Equestrian Center Executive Director, Sheila Blackburn, and Wyoming Wildlife Federation advocate, Tommy Bernard. Now, we're got this concert coming up on July 6th. This morning I was hoping Kendall could join us, but he's not in town just yet. Is he?
No,
not
he's just
on
yet.
the road.
He's on the road.
Coming from Nashville, I think.
Well, actually, he's going to come from Gunnison, Colorado. He's got a show in Gunnison the night before.
Now, I had heard through my music connections, also named Tommy.
Yeah.
that Kendall writes a lot of music for folks. Is that true?
Well, that's been his career. He started in his 20s writing. He grew up playing in honky-tonks when he was younger than legal.
Yeah.
And then he started writing, and he co-wrote with people, and he's been recorded by George Strait and Jake Owen and Gary Allen and many more, and Chris Stapleton. And so his more recent, after a couple decades of writing, everybody encouraged him to perform because he was just so good. So he teases, I started my performing career at 48 years old, Wow. And but he's got a new album out called Come On Sunshine, and Chris Stapleton he asked Chris if he'd put a lead on one of the songs, and Chris said sure. So he put the lead down, and he called Kendall later and said, "Kendall, I hope you don't mind, but I threw in a few vocals." And Kendall was like, "Oh, no problem," because to have Chris Stapleton's voice on your album is pretty validating, so he's been opening for Chris Stapleton last year on his tour dates and so forth, all over the country, California to Florida. His career has really taken off, and he's staying busy, and he puts on a great show. It's going to be a fantastic time.
And he sounds like that good, gritty country.
He is.
I really like, and I think some people call it like the dirt road country. It's got a little bit of bluegrass, a little bit of blues, and a little bit of the country twang in it, and that's the kind of country that I
a little bit of southern rock.
Yeah, there you go.
Time,
yeah, exactly. A little bit of the Skinner background.
Yeah. So we have a place in Nashville called the Exit Inn, and it's been there for 50, 60 years. I was a kid selling them beer, when they first opened. And Kendall does, once a month, he does the Honky Tonk Experience at the Exit Inn. And he does it on a Tuesday night, and I was there in April, and he told the crowd, he said, "I know y'all don't want to come out on a Tuesday night, but you know why you're here? everybody's looking at him, and he said, it's because the other musicians are off the road and they can come play with me. And he gets all kinds of people in there. We've had the two Foo Fighters show up.
Oh, wow.
When a concert got canceled, they just decided to come down to Exit In and play with Kendall, and there's no telling
who's going to pop in.
Yeah, who's in Nashville locals and up-and-comers and guys that, we had this guy, I can't remember his name, he's from North Carolina. He was awesome. He's got a decent career going, and but you just never know who's going to show up at the Exit In on a Tuesday night with Kendall, so it's a lot of fun.
Now, on July 6th, what do people need to know about the benefit concert?
The one thing they need to know is that, if they want to come, they can go on Eventbrite and get a ticket online, or they can just show up and we'll sell them a ticket at the gate. And we're doing something unusual this year because we're selling tickets for $100 for a car because of limited parking. So you can buy a ticket and put as many people as you want in your car and come out and have a blast.
Oh, that's amazing! So I can show up with a van full of folks.
Yeah, come on. We'll welcome you with open arms.
A van, not a bus.
Yeah, van, not a bus. It's got to be a car.
Yeah.
and not a big wheel coming out there.
Yeah.
Now, Sheila, what can we expect when we get out there? Is there going to be food, some drink?
There are, and back to the parking, it's going to be a little bit different. We are going to park folks around the field, so they'll walk over to the clubhouse and the stage. And then we've got a great sponsor, Sheridan Motors. They're going to have a couple flashy vehicles that are going to be staged right there, too, as well. They're our premier sponsor. We've got, of course, my clubhouse is open with 3 bars, and we're ready for you. We've got the Burger Wagon's going to join Kona Ice. I've got some popcorn. I've got some coffee. And it's just going to be a great time. We ask no outside alcohol be brought in, and really it's kind of not cohesive to tailgating, really, but bring your lawn chairs. I've got some patio furniture. We're going to be jamming on the patio. I think my bartenders are excited because they're right by the stage, and so if you see them dancing, poke fun at them. But really, it's going to be just close to the clubhouse. The stage is backdrop. You're going to see the mountains behind them, and it just couldn't be any prettier. But when you come in and you park, you do have to walk a little bit to get to the clubhouse, but that's not a problem because it's pretty and it's not that far.
I was going to say, you're pretty much walking out on that field, right?
Yes, you're walking across the field.
Some of the finest grass in the
county. Yeah, and the limitations, we just can't park on the field like we had been able to before, so we got to park around the field, which is no big deal.
Now, we're going to have plenty to eat, plenty to drink when we get up there.
You bet.
Make sure that we bring our lawn chairs.
Yep.
And get ready for a little bit of a hike. But is that going to kind of be how it's set up? So I pull up there in my truck. Me and my buddies jump out, grab the lawn chairs. And there's not going to be like any set sections. We just walk in.
You just make yourself at home. So the stage will be across from the clubhouse, just right on the field. In the inner patio area is where everybody's going to be. So you're going to make new friends and find your old friends and just get comfortable. And the patio's got seating up there, and it's just easy this year, and it just can't be any more fun.
Yeah, it sounds like it's going to be a pretty good time.
Probably need your sunglasses a little bit because it's pretty out there and the sun's out. But as the sun goes down, then it's going to be the dance floor's open, so we're expecting everybody to dance.
Exactly. That's what I bet there's going to be some room out there for folks to jump up and dance. Now, what time does it start?
So the first band will start at about 5:30, and that's going to be the Terry Waugh Band. And then the Dugan Irby Band will come on about 6:45. And then Kendall will come on 8:15 and play till we get tired of him.
And the sun's not going down lately until about 9-ish. So, you better take the sunglasses out there.
Yeah, about 9:30.
Now, how will the Wyoming Wildlife Federation utilize these funds that are being raised today? Or on the 6th, excuse me.
Well, they have an annual budget, and they have employees that, are a big part of that payroll, a big part of the budget. But as you grow the budget, as we can raise more money, we can have more impact. We can hire another person. We can, spend more money focusing on some of these issues that face Wyoming's future. And,
expand operations.
Yeah. I mean, because to put it in perspective, when I started in the Tennessee Wildlife Federation, our budget was about $1.2 million, and our budget now is $2.8 million for Tennessee. For Wyoming, we're struggling to get to $600,000.
Oh my goodness!
So we need to expand this budget to well over $1 million in a state that is so critically important to conservation in America.
And I don't want to talk bad about other states because they're our neighbors, but I really do feel just what you were saying. Wyoming is so species specific sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's
absolutely.
There's not that many people in the state of Wyoming. There's more animals than there are people, and I really feel that we've got a lot of great organizations that help out.
Right.
But with the influx of folks and the way that the technological advances have gone, it is pretty rough to see the budgets like that as low as they are.
Right.
And so to be able to raise money for an organization, I think this is a great cause. Now, I got about 3 minutes left. If I wanted to join the Wildlife Federation of Wyoming, what do I need to do?
Just go to their website, and at this point, I don't think there's really a membership protocol. There may be, but more importantly, it's just donations, and $100, $50. Every little bit helps. Anybody that's really interested in it should contact the Wildlife Federation if they would like to make a sizable donation, and somebody will come make sure somebody sits down with them and explains where their money's going, what it's going for, how it's helping
Complete
Wyoming.
transparency.
Yes, absolutely. This is a 501c3 that is funded by, the communities around Wyoming, and thank goodness we've got, things like the Wyoming Wildlife Federation, the Nature Conservancy, all the different organizations that are addressing conservation, and so critical to Wyoming.
Now, Sheila, let's talk one more time. Where do I need to get tickets?
You can go to Eventbrite. You can go to director@thebhec.org and email me. You can come out to the clubhouse, actually, Sunday for polo. I will be at the clubhouse, and I will be on the field. I can sell you tickets there. I can do credit card sales there, easy or cash. You can get them at the gate. We prefer cash. We don't have the ability to do otherwise. Gates open at 4, so really just contact me through my email if it's something I need to do personally, but Eventbrite's the perfect way.
All right. Well, I want to thank you folks for coming in today.
Thank you for having us.
I'm looking forward to this concert. I think this is going to be a really good time.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing you out there.
You've been listening to Public Pulse on 930 KROE and 103.9 FM, Sheridan.